Confession time. I don't actually like where I'm at least with my body. I was having one this week where I was talking to a friend because I was making some content around working out and demonstrating the type of workouts I do and, you know, the progressions and trying to teach and share what's going on, right? But I was telling a friend and I was like, I don't want to share the videos. I don't want to put them up. And they were like, why? What's wrong with them? And I was like, well, honestly, I don't like my body. I don't like how it looks in the videos. I don't like how it's showing up. I'm not fit enough. I'm not lean enough. All this kind of stuff. And it took a moment where they stopped and they were like, is that true? Is that a factual statement? If you are sharing this information with others, would they think the same thing about you? And I was like, I don't know. And they're like, and this is the one where they talk about quite frequently, the comparison is the thief of joy. Because, well, I'm comparing myself to all the guys on TikTok, on Instagram, on these guys who are essentially professional fitness models, who that's all they do. They're often in their 20s, they're often genetically blessed. For some of them, there is a good probability that they are enhanced in at least some way. All this kind of stuff. And I'm looking at it and going, oh, well, I just don't measure up. And it's in those moments that you have to, well, take an honest, hard look at yourself. Take a step back and ask, is that true? And I think this is a fine line and a dance between the two outcomes on this front. Because part of it is good. That's inspiring. It means that I'm not going to settle. It means I'm not going to be like, that's good enough, and stop doing the work. It means I'm going to consistently keep pushing forward. I'm going to consistently keep driving towards being better. And I think, as we've discussed before, good enough has killed more dreams, more potential, more prospects than anything else in this world. Good enough is the death of so many great men because they settle, they get comfortable, and they stop doing the work. But on the flip side, if we can't recognize the progression, if we can't recognize how far we've already come, how good we are doing, well, that's also demoralizing. If there is only ever the uphill struggle, at some point, even if you don't quit, it will weigh on you and it will hurt you and it will diminish your ability to continue doing the work. And so we have to play this fine line. Yeah, I can continue to aspire to be in greater shape. And in fact, that is my goal, that every year I continue to progress forward. But the reality of the fact is that I'm 33, I'll be 34 this year. I have 2 young children. I have 2 businesses. I work full time. Like, I have responsibilities, I have life things. And I'm comparing myself to people who are influencers whose whole job and whole world is just workout and recovery. And this is the danger of comparison. This is the danger of looking too far ahead. And it is the difference between inspiration and aspiring to be something better, be like something, to aim for that, and comparing yourself. We should aspire to be like those that inspire us, that we can model ourselves on, that we can elevate and uplift. But on the flip side, we shouldn't compare ourselves. Because one, our circumstances are going to be different. It is going to be set up and established differently. Two, you also don't know what hell or pain or suffering or things that led them to that moment, that has led them to that point in their life. There's a theory that people who, especially in things like endurance or powerlifting or things like these types of sports, those ones who excel at them, especially the athletic endeavors that mean enduring pain, ability to switch it off, have gone through some form of emotional trauma, which allows them to channel that into doing that, the pursuit of that. So when you look at that and you are inspired by it, that's great. Be inspired, push yourself, chase something greater than you. But at the same point, don't wish to swap places with them, because the gap is that we wish to swap places with all the positives they have without taking on all the negatives they have in their lives. And social media is the highest form of this. Now we see this very small, slim view of their world. This very narrow view, and it's usually just the highlights. It's usually just the best bits. We don't see the struggles. We don't see the downsides. We don't see when they don't want to. We don't see the bits that suck. All we see is the nice things, the great body, the holidays, the great life, the money, the wealth, the success, the easy side of it. And I think this is part of the disillusion that we've reached with all this stuff, is that most people think that's how their whole life is. They don't see the back end. They don't see the work. They don't see everything that's come with that. I had a friend of mine comment the other day, and they were like, oh, well, I don't have the freedom and time that you have to work out, to spend with your family, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's a reasonable statement. You have other options. You have made other choices. But also they haven't seen that I've had my gym for 12 fucking years. In my first year in business, I did $14,000. They haven't seen the ups and downs and the highs and lows. They haven't seen that there is still days where this is a grind, where I'm working out the next thing, that it isn't just, show up and cruise. I'm still working hard and heavily in the business. And anyone who is in business will tell you that it isn't a linear thing. There are ups and downs. It's the same as a weight loss journey. There are ups and downs like this. It's why when I talk about discipline through fitness, that I'm telling you that this will teach you everything you need to know for life. That this will prepare you for all the things that you want out of life. Getting in great shape teaches you the lessons that are required, that it isn't linear, that it isn't straightforward, that it takes time, it takes consistency, it takes all these kinds of things. But there is also momentum building, and you gain freedom from sticking with something for long enough. And you need to learn these lessons so that you can overcome, so that you can have those freedoms. But I started planning for the outcomes in the life that I have. It's not where I want it to be yet. It's not at the final destination yet. It's not done yet by any stretch of the imagination. But I knew I wanted to have freedom and choices when I had children. When I started my business at 21, I knew that this is the outcome that I was chasing towards. But everybody doesn't look at it that way. And they just look at it here and now. I've been planning to be a father and have this freedom my entire life. Like, that's all I ever wanted. My goals in life when I was 15. I've ticked off two out of the major 3 that I wanted. First one was I wanted to play professional basketball. Unfortunately, that one never came to fruition. I wanted to run my own business and make my own terms. That one did. And I wanted to be a father. And that one did. This is the reality of life. These are the things. I've been planning for these since I was 15 years old. 15 years old. And there is a bit of that when we are comparing our lives to other people and we're at the starting line and they're, I'm 18 fucking years on from that. I have been building towards this point for that time. That this is always where I intended to end up. I was having a discussion with my mother about this and my sister. And we were talking about that she's still single. And she was like, oh, well, not everyone is as lucky as you to find the love of your life when you're 21. And I was like, this is true. Granted, I was blessed. I met my wife when I was 21 years old. Thankfully, my wife saw enough in me when I was at my lowest ebb, when I was in my darkest times, and she pulled me out of that to stick with me, And we are 12 years on. We have been together. But on the flip side of that, as I just said, I had been looking for that my entire life. I knew when I was in college, when I was 15, all I wanted was to find the love of my life, to have children, to settle down, to run my business. That's what I wanted from my life. So I put myself in situations that would get me there. I put myself in situations that would allow me to live that life. I put myself in those situations and places and built the mentality and built the life so that I would be able to show up and be that man when the opportunities arose. And I think too many people are looking too far down the road. They're like, I'll become that man or that woman or whatever when I reach that point in life. No, you become that person first. You make that decision first, and then you'll find that the opportunities come to you. That's what chasing greatness is about. It's about building discipline. It's about doing the work now so that you can become that man in the future, so that you are becoming that man in the future, and then those opportunities will arise. So frequently, opportunities just happen for me that I didn't see coming, but because I'd previously put in the work, I was ready and able to handle them when they arose. I was ready to take advantage of those opportunities that I was blessed with because I'd already placed myself in that situation. But that's why the comparison is unfair, because you're comparing your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 30. And I'm doing it too. I'm, as I said, confession, guilty. Guilty is sin. But if I took myself back to day 1 of chasing greatness, I would have fucking killed to be in the shape I am now. Fuck, that's why we did it. That's why I started the journey. That's why I'm here now, because I wanted to be here. And so I took that leap of faith then. It's 382 days ago. I took a fucking leap of faith and I committed and I showed up and I did the work and I did the work and I did the work every single day, over and over and over again. And there were days when I didn't want it, and there were days when I hated it, and there were days when I questioned my own sanity on why I was doing this. And that's why we have to be able to recognize the progression. The me at day 1 would be over the moon, would be kicking me in the guts for being unhappy with where I am. Because for him, I fucking made it. But this is also the progression of life that we keep leveling up. That yeah, I am unsatisfied with where I am. Yeah, I want to be in better shape. I want to be leaner. I want to be, build more muscle. I want to build this incredible physique. But I also need to be able to sit back and go, no, I did fucking good. I have come a hell of a long way from the man with the gut hanging over his pants, with man tits, who was fucking disgusted every time I looked in the mirror. I'm a long fucking way from there. Now I'm being nitpicky. Now I'm being like, well, I want to achieve the next level. I've reached the 1%, now I want to reach the 0.001%. And this is where that next step comes from, that you have to keep leveling up. And as I said at the start, it is a fine balance between the two. It's a delicate fucking dance. Because on one side, yeah, you need to be damn proud of how far you've come, of undertaking those first steps, of beginning the fucking journey, and recognize how far you've come through that. But on the flip side, you don't want to settle, you don't want to get comfortable, you don't want to be like, this is good enough. No, keep striving forward, keep pushing. Don't let those resistance and the little bitch voice in your head cause you to backslide. Because that's how it starts. I was saying to one of my friends yesterday that the biggest issue with losing it all when you get comfortable, when it gets good enough, is that it's such a slow, slippery slope until it's not. Like, if you're overweight right now, did it happen because you had one pizza or one beer or one moment of eating junk food? Fuck no. It happened over a period of time. It happened by stacking 1,000 choices over and over and over again. And because it takes time, and because you are constantly looking at yourself and you're constantly seeing where you're at, you can often miss when you're backsliding. You can often miss those little step backs because, well, who's going to fucking know? It's only a little bit, and it's only a little bit, and only a little bit, and only a little bit, and all of a sudden it's a fuck ton. You know? It's never the big decisions that cause us to end up either somewhere we don't want to be or somewhere we do want to be. It's the micro decisions made over and over and over and over again. It's the tree falls the way it leans. It's those little things that add up into, well, shit, everything that is your life. And it's why it's so critically important that on the little decisions we make the right choices. On the little decisions we continue to choose the right things. Because, well, those little decisions turn into your life. They turn into your reality. They turn into who you are as a person. And you have to make clear choices about what truly matters to you. You have to make clear choices about all the things. Because otherwise you will end up as a man that you're disgusted by. You will have progressed forward and then you come back down. And you come crashing back down and you look in the mirror and be like, how the fuck did I get here? And it's the danger of comparison. Because as my friend shared with me, and I'm grateful to them for it, they were like, you don't know who you're inspiring through your actions. You don't know how many people have been affected or inspired by what you have done. Just because you aren't satisfied with it doesn't mean that you've got something worth sharing. There is something there. And the same goes for you. It doesn't have to be on a podcast. It doesn't have to be on social media. It could just be your family and friends around you. That, well, you're inspiring them to do great things. You're inspiring them to be a better version of themselves. You're inspiring them to see what they are capable of as well. So don't compare yourself to people who are 5 years ahead of you. Compare yourself to you yesterday. Are you better than you were yesterday? Yes, no. And if the answer is yes, fan-fucking-tastic. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep progressing forward. And as long as you keep getting better every single day, and you're better than the version you were yesterday, and you're better than the version you were a month ago and a year ago, then you're fucking winning. And if you keep doing that, and you keep stacking those wins, well, then life is going to be good for you. Now, if you're not certain where to start in this process, if you're not certain how to begin this process, click the link in my bio. Let's get you into Chasing Greatness Daily. Let's begin the journey. Let's start building discipline through fitness. And let's discover who you can become when you start pursuing your greatness. And you never know who you might inspire through these actions. So click that link in the bio and let's make it a reality. Otherwise, I'll be back again tomorrow, and I hope to see you then.